Man, that was a good show today. But guess what? We're still here. For those brave enough to hang around, man, are you in for a treat? Welcome to the Gun Talk After Show. This is where we exhale and loosen up a little bit and maybe handle some of the issues that were either too strong for the radio or maybe that we just didn't have time for. So let's get Tom back in here along with show producer Jim Kinsey, Michael, and Michelle. Now, the Gun Talk After Show. Take it away, guys.
You've now entered this weird place that we call the after show. Yeah, okay. It's already getting weird. I mean, just like that. Here we are. We got Michael, Michelle, and Jim all online. You guys all here?
Nope. We're here.
Nope. No, nobody. Nobody here but us chickens. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Just you. Okay. Well, you know what, Michelle? If you're here, I don't actually care if they're here.
Yeah. Sweet.
Oh, it's going to be a good after show if she's here.
I'm glad you said that out loud. It was just in my head before.
Oh, the voice is in your head again. Yes, okay.
Oh, you need help.
I like that. I like a bumper sticker that says, "Yes, I do listen to the voices in my head."
That's right.
So, yeah,
it's the twitch that concerns us mostly, Michelle.
That's right.
Thanks.
Get that little thing going there. It's okay. You know, medication, that helps. Mm-hmm. Well, did we stir up a little bit of a hornet's nest today?
Woo. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently you didn't spray it first either.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Spray it. I felt like in the middle of it that people were projecting all over the place and not hearing what I was saying. I mean, was I not saying it well or what?
I thought you said it. You got your point across fine. I actually thought the guy from New York had a valid point about, grouping it together, and I understood where he was coming from. I think you both had valid points. It's just I don't think you're on the same argument page.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about who you vote for. I'm talking about using terms that alienate people who would like to work on your side. That's all I was talking about. It's just the terms we use. Because you know me, I'm all about messaging.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I'd like the term anti-gunners. I like to use the term pro-vulnerabilists.
Yeah, that just runs trippingly off the tongue.
Yes, it's just so smooth. But think about it. I mean, you say somebody's anti-gun, it automatically puts them in negative, which they are, but it puts them in negative anyway. If you say, they're pro-defenselessness, well, what do you mean by that? That opens up a conversation.
Yeah, I know. I guess, but what I'm saying is there are people out there who want to help. They want to work with us. We had Rick from Arkansas? Yeah. He's called in saying that he says, look, I'm black, I'm liberal, and I'm a gun guy. I shoot, and I'm pro on gun rights. And I just can't tell you guys how many people I have had email me or come up to me and say, I want to be a part of this community, but boy, I walk in there and you've heard it. You guys talk about, those aren't liberals, those liberals this, those liberals that. And the guy's standing there, he's thinking, they're talking about me, and I'm here at the shooting range with them. It just, I don't know. I guess I've had my say on that.
Do you remember the All in the Family scene where Archie had a heart attack and Meathead was giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation? Oh, not Meathead, I'm sorry. And a black guy was giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And he came to, and he said, I wish you would let me die. In a way, it's the kind of same thing. I mean, if you're stuck on the side of the road, are you not going to have somebody give you a lift or help you out because he's Asian? I mean, come on.
It's an interesting parallel. You say, I'm so hung up on my labels that I won't take your help.
They're prejudiced, really. They're not just labels.
Well, that's what I say. I say, there's nothing as warm and comforting as a strongly held prejudice.
Right. Yeah. We just need to focus on what the motivation is, and the motivation is the right to be able to own the firearms, which shouldn't even be up for debate anyways.
Right. Of course, my motivation is to get as many people as I can helping us because it is a numbers game.
It is.
I mean, if we can move the needle, as I've said many times, if we can move the needle 2 or 3 clicks of public opinion, we win. So, Micah, what you been doing? You been shooting it all this week?
Yeah, actually, I went out this morning. We had a class, and I was doing some instruction, and we got to get out and shoot my new shotgun that I destroyed last week. And
What? What happened?
I bought a new shotgun, and I did not read whatever cleaning product I decided to use's label properly, and melted the magazine follower inside the magazine tube.
What did you spray on
Powder
there?
blaster. I thought it was something else. I think. But I had a heck of a time.
So it's a really strong solvent. It just melted the plastic.
It is. Yeah, I had to replace it with an aluminum follower and a new spring. But the biggest problem was getting the old gunky plastic out of the inside of the magazine tube. I had to use a dowel rod, and I taped a bunch of...
Was this something made for guns?
Yeah.
It's called Powder Blaster?
Yeah.
So it's actually like a brake cleaner kind of super solvent?
Yeah, and the reason I was using it is because the gun was shipped with so much really greasy cosmoline type stuff,
right.
And it was all up inside the mag tube, and every round I would eject, it would be coated with this stuff. So I was like, well, this has got to be cleaned,
Mm-hmm, sure.
But,
wow.
Yeah, so at least it works, and it was only like a $20 fix. So that's good.
Sometimes we have to pay for our education,
That's correct.
There you go. Hey, it looks like we got John from Longview, Texas. He is, let's see, on line 1, I believe.
I think he stole my word. That NRA commercial, they could have went off with anti-gun activists instead of liberal.
Mm-hmm.
They could have used that. And I think everybody was hearing what you were saying, but they weren't listening to what you were saying. It's your God-given right to keep and bear arms, protect you and your family.
I think you're exactly right. It existed before there was a Second Amendment.
And like Rick in Little Rock said, he was a liberal, but he is a gun owner and supports the NRA.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like defending a ship. You're defending your ship, and somebody's on the ship willing to help, and you don't believe in what they believe in, but they're wanting to help you keep the ship. Why would you refuse their help? Once you get back to land or wherever you're going, you can go your separate ways or whatever.
Actually, I think that is a beautiful analogy because we're on the ship, we're going to defend the ship, we're going to help it, and then when we get back, to wherever we're going, we don't have to be the best of friends on everything else. We just go out, or if your house is on fire and somebody helps you put out the fire, you may not end up being the best of friends with them on everything else, but man, you sure do appreciate the help at the time.
Yeah, and they leave and go their own way and never see them again, maybe or maybe not.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that. What I was hearing is people wanting to defend or talk about other issues instead of just defending the gun rights.
I think you're exactly right. I think that's exactly right. And look, I appreciate the call, John. And that was my point I was trying to make, and evidently not very well, guys, is that we can't get bogged down in the other issues. People want to say, yeah, but he didn't support whatever, or he supports gay rights, or he supports abortion, or she supports, and to which I always just say, yes, and I don't care. I really, if you want to fight them on that, and that's your issue, go fight them on that. Great. It's not my issue. My issue is guns. And if I can get somebody's help on guns, I don't need a package deal. I guess maybe does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, well, you know what I was thinking? Take it a step further. Go with the stereotypes for a second, okay?
Okay.
Go with the liberals that hate, they all hate guns. All of them have to, right? Okay. And they're all pro-abortion. Sure they are. Well, let's say that's, you're a gunny like us, and the abortion thing doesn't sit in your craw properly. If you can spark conversation and get these people to help you on the things you do agree with, guns, for example, on a liberal pro-gun person, you don't think that relationship develops, and as time goes on, if they're voting for somebody who is pro-abortion like they are, but anti-gun, you don't think that would hold some weight there and affect their voting?
Take it a step further. If you had somebody, and I'm not talking about voting for people who you really hate their ideas, mm-hmm. but if you had somebody on your side, somebody you met at the shooting range, a Rick, you say, okay, look, I know Rick, you and I don't agree on these other issues, but we're good on guns. Who would be more effective talking to an elected official who is self-identified as liberal, you or Rick?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We need Rick working with us on this thing because he's going to be able to go in and say, look, I'm with you on this, but man, I'm just telling you, you need to listen to me on the gun issue because, I'm with you on abortion, I'm with you on whatever, pick up an issue, but we also need to talk about guns because you're going lockstep on this and you really don't need to be there. And I think they're probably more likely to listen to Rick than they are to us.
Absolutely.
And how many other Ricks have we kept out of the room because of that label that we want to focus on? They bring lots of other people with them if we let them in.
Well, that's just it. If you make them feel uncomfortable. And only by the choice of our words. Clearly remember, I was at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and I'm walking by these groups, and it's like you can't even go through a group of people who are standing around talking about guns without them railing against liberals. And I went ahead and made my little speech, and then I had 2 or 3 of them, people come up to me and say, I'm really glad you said that, because I'm here to support gun rights. This is people who spent their money, they made the trip, they're there to support gun rights, and they're saying, but I really don't feel comfortable because everywhere I go, people are just bad-mouthing liberals, and I'm a liberal. And I'm thinking, well, there it is. I mean, that's the whole deal. And it just keeps coming up over and over again. I just keep thinking, man, we can't afford to throw away any help we can get from any direction. The rest of it, I don't care about. I just don't. Tell you what, let's take a quick break. I want to get back. We got Jim and Stephen waiting for us. We'll get to those guys. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Tired of paying for one concealed carry holster after another that's flimsy, hard to hide, or just plain uncomfortable? Alien Gear holsters feature a super stealthy and ultra comfortable design. Our professional quality holsters are backed by an ironclad triple guarantee, including a free 30-day test drive, free shell trades for life, and a forever warranty. Starting at just $29.88, you won't find a better quality or better priced holster on the planet. Any planet. Go to aliengearholsters.com to get yours now.
All right, we're back. I tell you what, let's go straight to the phones. Stephen is with us out of Kathleen, Georgia. Hey, Stephen, how are you?
I'm doing quite well.
Good deal. What's this? You had some heart surgery?
I did, and essentially, this was about 5 months ago.
Okay, well, what'd you have done?
I had a valve replaced, the aortic valve.
Okay, so how did that affect your shooting?
Well, my heart now beats so strongly that it actually shakes my upper body.
Darn it, tell them to dial that thing back. I want a heart that doesn't beat.
No. Life's too good like this.
Okay.
So when I'm looking through a scope on a rifle, it wiggles. Everything wiggles.
Yep.
And I can even, if I fire enough rounds, I can even get a pattern. If you think of a piece of notebook paper, the pattern goes from top right-hand side to bottom left-hand side through the bullseye.
You shoot right-handed?
I do.
Okay. So you're getting a vertical string, top right to bottom left. Now, is this when you're shooting off a bench or shooting offhand?
Yes, it's shooting off a rest.
Off a rest.
Off sandbag.
Sandbags. Interesting. Well, let me ask you, do you have a sandbag on the back of the rifle as well as the front?
No.
Okay, there's a problem. When you're shooting off a bench, you got to have sandbags on front and back.
Okay.
Because that eliminates that whole thing, because you should be able to shoot itty-bitty groups, but there should be a sandbag under the butt of the rifle. Now, let me describe this, and you'll get this figured out real quickly. Your right hand stays on the grip of the gun, and your left hand goes underneath your armpit. And it is actually squeezing the sandbag that's holding up the back, or the toe of the gun, the butt back there. And so what you do is you squeeze or release the pressure on that sandbag with your left hand, and it will raise and lower the back of the gun, the butt of the gun, which will raise and lower the crosshairs. And you get just with a little bit of pressure, squeeze it, it goes up, you release it, it goes back down. And if you've got a rest front and back, you'll be able to shoot nice small groups. There's really no way to shoot good groups without supporting it both front and back. Okay, but I'm going to go on a little bit further. That shake that you're seeing is A-OK, and it's not going to affect you in terms of, do you shoot are you getting ready to go hunting? Is that what you primarily do?
Yeah, I'm doing pest control, mainly gray squirrels.
Gotcha. Okay. There's a secret here that a lot of people, when they're shooting off the bench, they want the gun to be perfectly still, and we do when we're sighting in, but then when they start shooting offhand, the rifle is wiggling around or shooting off of sticks or whatever, and they're waiting for the wiggle to stop. Well, it never is going to stop, because we are this quivering mass of protoplasm trying to hold up this rifle. And like you say, you got breathing going on, you got your heart rate going on, you got, and we're just generally unsteady anyway. But if you would just let the crosshairs drift, they almost will kind of form like a figure 8 or a circle, and just keep pressing the trigger. It's like this weird Zen kind of thing. The bullet will go where it's supposed to go. It doesn't look like it's going to. Let it wiggle. Just keep pressing the trigger. Do not try to time the shot and yank it at exactly the right time. That'll guarantee a miss. Just press it off. Try it on target. See how it works for you. I think you'll find that if you just don't try to yank, just press, and just let it go off as you get a wiggle. You're going to find you're going to actually shoot pretty well.
Okay.
So how you doing after the surgery?
Very good. It's a whole new world. I was pretty darn sick.
And it happens slowly. You just get weaker and weaker, and were you getting like the fatigue and out of breath, that kind of symptoms?
Yes. Yep. And it's amazing. I didn't know how sick I was until I got better.
Exactly. The other thing that happens, and may have happened to you, is I have seen it where people get a lot more susceptible to overheating. The heat really gets to them when they have either bypass or heart valve issues.
I haven't noticed that.
Okay, that was before.
And it's pretty hot right here in Georgia right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, but before the surgery. Afterwards, you should be good to go.
I see.
Well, good for you. Congratulations. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well.
Well, it really is amazing, the difference. I couldn't believe it.
Well, good deal. Hey, you sound like you had some good doctors and you're doing your follow-up. But, yeah, try those techniques on shooting. I think that's going to work for you. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate the call. Boy, it's true. I mean, sometimes you get worse so gradually you don't even know it until you get better, and you go, wow, I really was kind of bad off there.
I just recently lost a whole bunch of weight, and I ran yesterday for the first time in like 5 years, and I couldn't even have done it up and down steps, 7 months ago. And I felt great afterwards. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, especially with that TV under your arm.
Yeah,
There's two guys chasing.
Hey, they've gotten lighter now.
You guys remind me of that woman that said, yeah, I lost 180 pounds of unsightly flab. I don't know where he is now.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I don't think Michelle liked that.
Michelle's over going, you guys. Actually, you kind of identify with that, sir. Anyway, do we still have Jim, or did he get tired of waiting on us?
He's still blinking.
Okay. We'll go to the blinking Jim.
He's got something in his eye, I believe.
Too, yeah. Hey, Jim, you still there, man?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good deal. Help me out here, because I'd never heard of fluid film. You been using it?
Oh, yeah, for many years. It was originally introduced to me when I used to listen to Johnny Rowland on his old shooting show.
Sure, yeah. Out of Shreveport.
He used to sell it. So I bought a bunch of it, still got some of it left. It's a real good product. It's been around a long time.
How do you use it? What do you do with it?
It's particularly good for guns in a hot, humid climate. The best way to use it, what I would tell people, is to field strip the gun, whether it's a rifle or a handgun, remove any optics, and it's a good idea probably to remove the stock, even though it won't hurt stock finishes. But mainly so that you can get the film on the undersides of the metal parts where rust tends to happen anyway.
Right.
Put the barreled action, say, of a rifle on a towel or something and spray it down liberally with the stuff from a spray can, which is the way I got the product anyway.
Okay.
And let it soak for a few minutes. Then what I would do in my shop, I have compressed air, and I would just blow it dry with air pressure, and then use a shop rag and clean off any liquid on the exterior surfaces, and then set the gun aside for a half an hour or so for everything to dry. Then it's ready to reassemble, and you can store it without any concern about corrosion or rust.
Do you have to strip it before you apply this?
You don't really have to, but I think it's best to get a good coating of all the internal parts. I wouldn't spray it inside the bolt, for example. It's not necessary, but just inside the bolt way. It won't hurt the bore. Mainly you want to get it on all the external finished surfaces. And once you wipe it down, it dries to a film you can't detect by touch.
Ah, that's what I was going to ask you, if it's greasy
sticky.
or anything.
Yeah.
And it should not in any way interfere with the action of any type of semi-automatic. It's an old product, and that's the proper way to use it, and it definitely works. It does contain a lot of lanolin. You can tell by the odor.
Oh, okay. So you end up smelling like a wet sheep.
Well, it's not too unpleasant.
All right. Well, look, I appreciate the report on that. I had not heard of that before, but sounds like we got some good reports from people that's been working for a long time, because this is, as you say, I looked, and it's been around a long time anyway.
I'm a former bench rest competitor. I'm a retired engineer. I study technical ballistics. Like I say, I'm interested in extreme rifle precision and advancing the state of the art in that field.
I think I'm familiar with your work.
I've written many articles for Precision Shooting magazine over the years, the former Precision Shooting magazine.
Right. Jim Boatwright.
Yeah, I'm a friend of Mick McPherson, Cortez, Colorado, gun writer. I heard you interview him about his new book a few weeks ago.
Right.
Which I have, by the way.
And if you tell me you've been using fluid film, then that adds a lot more credence to it, because I'm familiar with your background and your reputation. That means a lot. So, you know what this means? It means I got to go out and buy some of this stuff now and try it.
Like I say, I'm interested in advancing the state of the art, in particular for long-range rifle shooting.
Yep, I understand. Listen, I've got to scoot, Jim. I appreciate the call, and thank you for doing the work on that testing. And pretty cool. Fluid film. Had you guys ever heard of fluid film before?
Never.
Nope.
Isn't that interesting? None of us had heard of that before, and it sounds like it's been out, because it's available like at Tractor Supply and Granger and places like that. They've even got like an undercoating system where you can spray it, the way you would corrosion protection stuff, so you could get it into, well, I don't know, tractors or whatever.
It sounds like an awesome product.
Now, how could anything that old actually work, though?
Yeah, really, exactly.
Tom's still looking.
No! Ouch, man. Let me reach back here behind myself and pull this dagger out of my back. Oh, man.
Join us on next week's After Show when Jim, Michael, and Tom only discuss.
Or maybe it's just going to be Michelle, because, after you got me, guys, you better be watching yourselves. Oh, man. All right, I got to ask you guys, did you watch the Ice Bucket Challenge we did?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was cool. The thermal photography was great.
The thermal was fun. That was kind of it's silly, but we're sitting there, we've got this gear in the office, and I can't remember if it was Ryan or Sarah said, well, why do we do the thermal? I said, yeah, we got this $9,000 thermal scope here, and we got to send it back next week, so let's go do something with it.
Yeah, it was cool. And I advise anybody who hasn't seen to check it out.
It's on YouTube. Just do the search for Gun Talk Ice Bucket, and it'll show up that way.
Cool.
So there you go. We are in the process. This is the weird part of the year for us. We get all these guns in and use them for the TV shows, and now we're in the send-it-back phases. And it's kind of weird.
Except the M&P 22. You're not sending that back.
Yeah, that was not going back. And actually, maybe except some other things. I went by and looked at a stack of them. They're going back. I go, what is that? And do we have to send that back? And okay, ask them how much it's going to cost us to keep that one. Yeah, that's what I need. I need one more 9mm pistol. That makes all the sense in the world, right?
Maybe a striker fire one this time.
I'm going to get a pump action pistol.
Cool.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
It makes me wonder, have they ever done a pump action pistol?
I don't know.
Well, not maybe an air gun. I mean,
speaking of air guns, I found an old air pistol and cleaning out some stuff. And it probably isn't going to work because this thing is like old, but
it's got old air in it.
It's got old air. That's right. So you got to put some fresh air in it. But I got a raccoon problem.
Ooh.
And pretty soon they're going to have a Tom problem, because these guys are all over the yard, and my neighbor's saying, "Have you been seeing all these raccoons?" Like, yeah. we got to do something about this. So it may be, and I've been putting it off because I know what's going to happen if I get into these really nice adult air guns. That's what I need, is another hobby.
We're going to have 2 after shows.
Yes, exactly. But man, they're making some great air guns now. They even have them that come with integral silencers. You guys familiar with that?
Yeah, I've seen it. What I like is you can get them modeled after popular firearms, so you can actually extend your training to the point where when you're firing it, you're training.
Oh, exactly right.
That was articulate.
You just have a way with words there, big boy.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny the people that scoff at air guns because they've got some, 2,500 FPS. Some of these suckers now.
Yeah, they're like 22s or beyond.
Yeah, you can get them at Walmart. It's nuts.
Okay, well there you go. There's a Walmart near everyone. So,
all right, now further question here, Tom, to vet this out a little bit: BB or pellet?
Well, pellet. The BB. The thing is, you need a rifled barrel. Traditionally, BB guns had smoothbore barrels,
right?
And they were okay, but they were up close. But if you want accuracy, you've got to have a rifle barrel, and at that point, you're going to be shooting pellets. And so then the question becomes: you're looking at 177 caliber and 22 caliber, and now they've got him up to like Crossman. Was it Crossman had a 357? You're basically shooting 357 bullets.
Wow.
Out of an air gun, and I mean, they're killing hogs with these things.
And it's not a firearm.
Now, the deal is with the silencer, what the experts tell me is that it can't be removable because then it falls under the NFA regs. But if it's integral, then it's not a silencer. It's just part of this air gun, which, as you say, is not a firearm. So... all sound, because when you get something that's going better than 1,100 feet per second, now you're getting a sonic crack and a lot of air sound, so a little bit of a silencer wouldn't hurt. So anyway, my neighbor, nice couple of ladies over there, they said, now, if you hear a really loud boom, okay, ladies, look, the woods are over that way, so keep it pointed over toward the woods, okay? And I'll know that Rocky Raccoon has bitten the dust when it comes time.
Do you remember those old the little miniature darts you could shoot out of an air rifle?
I do. I'm old enough to remember those things.
I just dated myself.
You can still find those. I've seen them around.
Well, sir, I think Tom should do is get one of those and integrate it with a fishing system so he can shoot the raccoon, hook it, and then reel it in on the line.
You laugh. Okay, story time. I'm a kid. We're doing a lot of bow fishing. We shoot these fish with this arrow, a big solid fiberglass arrow with a string on it. You put it back in.
Right.
So, I grew up on the water on a lake. So we went out at night, a buddy of mine and I, and so we shot a nutria with this. Now, a nutria, for those who don't know, is about a 25-pound rat. So where I'm going is connecting to that, the idea of shooting a raccoon with something where you got to bring it back in.
Yeah, bad move.
I nailed this nutria just under the skin.
Oh.
So he's not really hurt, but he's really, really unhappy with me. And I'm pulling him back into the boat. So we got this rat who is really ticked off, and I'm about 15 years old. But I have forethought. I have planned this out. So I have one of those souvenir that you get at the ball game, Louisville Sluggers. It's about a foot long.
Oh, yeah.
And it's me, the rat, and the bat. And we're going to town in the night in this boat.
That I'd like to see on thermal.
And you know who won? Because it's not called Rat Talk.
Nice.
So, no, we're not shooting raccoons with anything that has a string on it, because I don't want him coming back at me.
No retrieval.
No retrieval here. Yeah. No siree.
Well, just a little word to the wise. I was attacked by a raccoon once.
Were you really?
Yeah, and I smacked him. I was digging. I was actually building a studio years ago, and he snuck up behind me and started making hissing noise and stuff, so I thought, well, I got a shovel in my hand. That'll dissuade him. Nope, their heads are really hard.
Yeah,
if you hit them in the snout, I learned from somebody later, you can disable them. But if you just smack across the head, they're going to laugh at you and attack you.
I used to live at a Boy Scout camp when I was actually an instructor, and we had a real bad raccoon problem around the garbage cans, and they would, in group, attack us, like chase you. And, we at the point we couldn't have any firearms or anything. We were doing bow. So I ended up having to take the bow back to my cabin just to, get back there. And I was shooting, steaks and stuff at them so they'd leave me alone. It was nuts.
Yeah, what could go wrong with that? Yeah. All right, Michelle, you got any raccoon or rat stories?
No, nothing that can live up to these.
The thing about raccoons, too, is that they can become rabid.
Yes. Exactly.
And so, there's an issue there, too. We got a lot of dogs and kids running around the neighborhood. So,
raccoon talk, rat talk, we got a lot of opportunities here.
They call that a line extension. We're going to do more shows.
Right.
So there you go. Spin-offs, that's right. So there you go. And once again, we spin to some place that's very weird. I don't know how it is. We always end up at this weird place.
Consistency?
Practice.
Yeah,
mental fortitude.
We weren't born idiots. We had to work at it to perfect this.
I think what actually amounts to is that we're able to hide it for only so long. and then the real us comes out.
It was just a matter of time before.
That's right. It's just gone. It evaporates.
Well, Michelle's really the only person that gets to talk to anybody out in the outside public. Jim and I just look at each other and we're like, wait for the after show so we can talk.
There's a reason they make you audio guys hang around in little dark rooms and not talk to people. You know that,
and keep glass between us.
Yeah. That's right. Exactly right. There you go. All right, guys, look, we have killed another hour here, so you guys go out and shoot something this week, and send us pictures of your dead raccoons, would you?
Good luck with that.
Yeah, let me know how that works. You might want to check your local regs before you do anything like that, too. Just
may or may not be seasons on them.
May not be seasons. You may be in a neighborhood where you can't shoot.
They frown on that in the middle of the city.
That's hunting over bait.
That's why we have shovels. So far, we don't have any shovel control. There you go. All right, so Fluid Film, got to check that out. And in the meantime, I'm going to go declare myself as being a liberal, and that'll really get people.
Yeah, and if you're going to do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge or anything like that, it's all about the money. Let's actually contribute money as opposed to just trying to be a YouTube star.
Well, yeah, that's, we made sure that, in fact,
I saw the credits, on the end of
She said, well, we're going to give money. I said, no, I already did that. We're going to do that beforehand. So that donation is made. And if anybody would like to get involved, by all means do. But check out our Ice Bucket Challenge on YouTube, the Gun Talk Ice Bucket Challenge. It was kind of fun.
It was cool.
See what we're up to. All right, guys, have a good week. And unfortunately, we'll have to do it again next week.
It's just practice again.
There you go. Be good.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, how'd you like the Gun Talk After Show? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, we stick around after the regular radio broadcast and just have a little fun. You can get it on your computer, or better yet, have you heard about the new Gun Talk app for your Android or iPhone? That makes it real easy. Download it today in the App Store. You can use your iPod too. Join us again right here next week for the Gun Talk After Show with Tom, Jim, Michelle, and Michael. It's always worth it, and it's never boring, I can tell you that. We'll see you next week. We're hanging out at guntalk.com. Meet us there.